Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Friday, 2 days before Christmas, the day after Manchester City 3, Liverpool 2 in the Carabao Rumbelows Milk Cup. Liverpool now out of the competition they won last year, and to be fair, thank God for that. It is less games to worry about, less garbage to have to watch. The Reds were not good last night. They lined up with Caoimhín Kelleher in goal. I thought Kelleher had largely a good game. I don't think you could blame him for any of the 3 goals that City scored. I think he made a really good save from Gundogan. He made a good save from Aki, a good save from Phil Foden. He claimed crosses quite well. I thought he commanded his area quite well, and I thought his kicking was quite good. So, all things considered, I think Caoimhín Kelleher had another solid game. James Milner started at right back, and to be kind, he was dreadful. He was absolutely dreadful. Cole Palmer roasted him. And it's probably time for James Milner to just consider calling it a day. He got injured in the game. How? I'm not really sure. Seemed to be a muscle injury. Cole Palmer tied him into knots, and that's not a good sign for Milner at all. The guy can't play right back. He's never really been able to play right back. He's had a handful of good performances there over the years, but he's not a right back. He's not a left back. At this point, he's not a Premier League caliber player. Liverpool improved greatly when he went off. Let's put it that way. Joel Matip started at centre-back. He had a good game. Joe Gomez started at centre-back and was dreadful as a centre-back, moved to right-back when Milner got hurt, and was better, but you wouldn't say good. Nat Phillips came on, and I thought he did okay. Won a couple of decent aerials, had one great tackle on Haaland, was poor for City's third goal, dropped, played them all onside, and then it just couldn't get to the cross. So, there is that. But I thought he did okay overall. I thought Robertson had a poor game at left back. Just didn't seem sharp, which is kind of understandable. There's been no real football for 6 weeks. In midfield, Harvey Elliott started, looked completely lost. Did start to come into the game a little bit more early in the second half when Liverpool moved to more of a 4-man midfield. But overall, a poor showing from Harvey, who's not a midfielder and shouldn't be used as one. Stefan Bajcetic started as the number 6 and looked like he's about 2 years away from really being able to play any sort of role for a team with ambitions to win major honours. And that's fine, because he's 18. And he shouldn't be put in these positions. Like, we shouldn't have to play him. We shouldn't be playing him. We shouldn't be playing Harvey Elliott as much as we are. It's down to poor squad management that we're playing these players as much as we are. Thiago played in the left-sided role, and he was all right. I mean, wasn't good, wasn't bad. Better second half once Fabinho came on. Fab came on for Bajcetic at half-time, and I thought Fab had probably his best performance in a Liverpool jersey this season. Won his tackles, looked quicker than he had done prior to the World Cup, which is good. The rest has obviously done him a lot of favours, and hopefully we see more of the real Fabinho moving forward. And Jordan Henderson came on for Harvey Elliott and was crap. Naby Keita came on for Thiago and might as well have stayed on the bench. In attack, Mo started on the right. Didn't have a great game. Scored, but didn't have a great game. Didn't look like he had his usual burst, which is a bit concerning. Darwin started as the 9. Now, I will say Nathan Aki historically has done fairly well against Mo, so maybe there's something in that. Darwin started as the 9, should have scored at least 2, had 4 decent chances, one of which was miles offside, but wasn't flagged for offside, and with no VAR, it would have scored. It would have stood. But yeah, he really needs to work more on his finishing. I think he just needs to stop overthinking things. I think he's putting too much pressure on himself. It reminds me of when we got Suarez first, and his finishing was just so poor. Whenever he had too much time, Suarez would overthink everything. And you remember he'd try and do that really annoying finish with the outside of his right boot. Darwin's kind of in that situation at the moment. When he does things on instinct, it all comes off much better. The chance or the goal he created for Mo was excellent. Fabio Carvalho started left wing, scored but had a poor game, and looked like a boy playing against men, which is what he is, and he shouldn't be playing as much as he is. Oxlade-Chamberlain came on at half time and was just a grown up. You know, man strength, man pace. Played a great ball to Darwin for Salah's goal. Had a couple of good runs from midfield. Promising. Promising is what I would call Oxlade-Chamberlain's performance. I think Klopp said afterwards he was going to start the game, but he'd had the flu in the lead up. But based on that performance, he should be starting this weekend. And this weekend, I mean Monday, of course, St. Stephen's Day or Boxing Day, if you will. I think against Aston Villa, Ox should be starting on the left, and it should be more of a midfield 4 with a 2 up front rather than the 4-3-3, because 4-3-3 hasn't worked this season. Hasn't worked at all. And in truth, if you look at last season, we weren't really playing 4-3-3 either. We were playing a double pivot in midfield. Henderson was playing sort of a right wing or number 10 role. Harvey played it as a right winger. Naby, when he played with them, he played it as a 10. It was 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2. I think we need to commit to doing that more. Ox left, Harvey right, Fabinho, Thiago double pivot is about the best we have until, well, either we buy players or the likes of Jota and Luis Diaz return from injuries. Diogo Jota should be back in February. Diaz, they're hoping in March. We lose Bobby Firmino as well. Now, we don't know how long for or what type of injury it is, but he is out as well, which is less than ideal. It means we're going to have to play Mo and Darwin pretty much every game moving forward. And that's not ideal. They can have the FA Cup off. At least after these 3 Premier League games coming up, there is a 2-week break from Premier League action. And Jurgen should be sending out the kids for the FA Cup game against Wolves and just get out of that competition as well. There's no point. Top 4 is the only acceptable outcome in the league. It's less than acceptable, really, considering the talent we have at the club. But given the situation we find ourselves in, they have to get top 4. And the focus should be trying to win the Champions League, not the domestic cups. So we're going to need to be keyed in for those Real Madrid games. And we really do need to get bodies in the door in January. There's no way around it. We need at least 1 in midfield, probably 2. We need 3 across the next 2 windows. And it would be easier to get 2 in January. If Jude is the one for the summer, it'd be easier to get 2 in January. I think we should be looking to bring in a forward player as well. Marcus Thuram is at a contract in 6 months. Why not? Why not? Try and get a pre-contract done with him and then lowball Gladbach with an offer and try and get him 6 months early. Yeah, not a lot of good from last night's game other than lads got minutes in their legs, other than Kelleher and Joel Matip playing well. Fabinho looking good and Ox looking promising. I don't think you take anything good from that game. This is Anfield. Have a piece up. The Reds are back, but what about Darwin in the defence? Liverpool fall short in classic versus Man. I don't know where you get the idea that it was a classic. It was a poor game of football. A curious mix of wild and warm up. 5 talking points from the game. Liverpool would like to keep Naby Keita on one condition. This is according to one Merseyside-based journalist. Oh, Neil Jones. Neil Jones said Liverpool would like to keep Keita, but they'd also like him to play a few games. But he played 40 games last season, so he does play. He just needs to stay fit. Some reports in Argentina suggest Liverpool would like to sign Fernandes from Benfica before loaning him back to Portugal for the remainder of the season. Speaking on Redmen TV, Jones says a contact of his at Liverpool simply responded with a laughing, crying emoji when he was put to him in recent days. So, yeah, I mean, clearly we're not going to sign a player for 120 million euro and then loan him back for 6 months. If we're going to sign Enzo Fernandez in January, he's going to come in January. He would be perfect. He'd fit like a glove into our team and he'd fix a lot of the problems that we have. Jurgen Klopp has told FSG he needs 250 million for transfers, says Jamie Carragher. Carragher thinks that one of the reasons is because Klopp has gone to them and said he needs a lot of money to spend. In truth, he needs probably a bit more than 250 million because we need 3 midfielders and a forward and a centre-back. Now, you can raise some money by selling some players, but there's not a whole lot to sell because too many players have been allowed to run their contracts down, which is poor squad management. Liverpool's schedule may not let up despite Carabao Cup exit. Klopp says Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is in a good moment. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff there on This Is Anfield, so have a read of that. Liverpool.com, Jurgen Klopp just pinpointed another Darwin Núñez concern that Liverpool need to resolve. I assume that's the injury to Bobby Firmino. Though the tagline here of Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp bemoaned the lack of Roberto Firmino, that tells us plenty about what Darwin Núñez needs to improve within his game, is nonsense. It genuinely is nonsense. Liverpool want Brazilian-born wonder kid is at 88 million. Enzo Fernandez transfer truth becomes clear. This is the Media Digest piece. Let's have a look. Jurgen Klopp confirmed that Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold will be back in action to face Aston Villa, so that's good. Wonder kid wanted. Liverpool are one of 5 clubs interested in 16-year-old Preston talent Felipe Rodriguez Gentil, with the Reds hoping to add him to their youth ranks. The wonder kid, who was born in Brazil, but is also eligible for Spain and Argentina at international level, has scored 18 goals in his last 10 games, including 4 hat-tricks. So that's quite interesting. Fair play. Enzo Fernandez transfer truth. An offer of £88 million has been tabled to Benfica for Enzo Fernandez, but did not come from Liverpool. That is according to Ebola and Record. Now, other outlets have said it did come from us, but it's quite hard to know where it's come from. It's like it may not even have happened, you know. It's hard to know. I don't know who the best outlet in Portugal is. I'm not going to pretend that I consume a lot of Portuguese media. Some people wanted to go on Twitter and say, "Oh, this group are the most reliable, and this group aren't, and let's give these a gold medal and these a bronze." It's all nonsense. All nonsense. Liverpool player ratings from the game against Man City. Who are these by? David Comerford who often does ratings for AI. So he's done winners and losers. Winners, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Nat Phillips. Losers, James Milner and Darwin Núñez. 6 out of 10 for Kelleher is too low. 7 out of 10 for Milner is laughable, frankly. 4 out of 10 would be giving him extra credit for the assist. I do assume that's a misprint. Joel Matip 6 out of 10, I think that's low. Gomez 5 out of 10 is fair. Robertson 6 out of 10, I think is generous. Harvey Elliott and Basetic 6 out of 10. If Thiago gets 6 out of 10, then those two are 4 and 5 out of 10. They weren't good. They just weren't good. Salah 7, it's a bit generous. Darwin 5 is probably fair. I mean, Carvalho 7 is just no. I'm sorry, he was awful. He got hooked at halftime for a reason. Nat Phillips 7. If Matip is 6, I don't know how Nat is 7. Fabinho 6. I mean, did this guy watch the game? Ox 7, Henderson 5, Naby Keita 5. I mean those are fairly poor now, to be honest. On to AnfieldIndex.com. League Cup man of the match. They've given it to Thiago. I don't agree or disagree. I don't care, to be honest. I wouldn't say so. I would say Joel Matip was probably our best player. Can Ben Doak be the new Raheem Sterling? Let's calm down and stop putting pressure on young players. January scouting report, Mohamed Kudus. This was put together by David Davis. Kudus is a very good player. Very good, very promising. Still a bit raw, but he is the type of player that would fit well with Darwin. Now, he wants to play in midfield. We would need him to do both, play in midfield and play in attack. But he's certainly a player with good versatility and a lot of upside. If the price tag of 35 million is real, it's a move we should be looking at in January. Podcast-wise, we have a new Raw up from last night. Guy hosted myself and Trev to bemoan what we witnessed. There's a new transfer podcast with Trev and Dave Davis. There's a new Scouts or Tommies. There's a new Raw for Villa, which we've just recorded, which will be out today, I assume. Not Raw,
New Scouted.
new Scouted for Villa, which, yeah, it'd be good if we could do Raw in advance as well and just predict what's going on. But no, we can't. And that's it. That's me for today, folks. I'll be back Wednesday, I think. I think Wednesday will be the first day back, and then we'll see how the week goes from there. It's looking a bit up in the air at the moment with, family, and there's also people in my family, just no consideration at all, having their birthdays at Christmas time. Like, come on now. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Have a good Christmas. Enjoy yourselves. Be good to your families. Unless they're not good to you, then just tell them to get out. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.